The Nazi will scoff at the idea of oppressor groups having to sacrifice some luxuries to enable equality with oppressed groups. They will smugly decry such things as the irrational manifestations of a liberal empathy. They will label such things as representing an egregious affront to self-interest. They will call such demands insane and demented on the grounds that they contradict self-interest. Whether or not such demands actually contradict rational self-interest or not is a discussion for another time. My central concern here is the absurdity of Nazis mocking liberalism as an affront to self-interest. For if the liberal has insulted the centrality of self-interest, the Nazi has sentenced it to death. What right does Nazism have to mock liberalism's demands in this regard? Is it not Nazism that demands absolute and unquestioning subservience to the leader and the nation? Is it not Nazism that expects its followers to march off in their millions, to suffer and die fighting for a leader who doesn't even care about them, and a nation which exists more strongly as a fantasy than an actual reality? Is it not Nazism which demands that individuals put their self-interest aside to completely devote themselves to the collective and the leader? Are these not the demands of Nazism? Last time I checked, Nazism was characterized by such demands. Central to Nazism is an intense cult of personality. Few things are more opposed to self-interest than the idea of complete unquestioning devotion and absolute subservience to a leader. The cult of personality demands that the Nazis suffer and die for the leader. What is an insult to self-interest if not this? Nazism demands that the individual devote themselves to some fantastical and very often delusional conception of the nation. What role does self-interest play in complete subservience to a leader and an idea? If liberalism is worth mocking for its conflict with self-interest, then Nazism and its call for complete unquestioning subservience should be made into a great comedy act. If the liberal call to put aside some material comfort for the good of others is insane, then the Nazi call for unquestioning subservience to the leader is so incredibly unhinged that a word does not yet exist to describe it. All words offered by the existing vocabulary are nothing but grotesque understatements. The National Socialist program explicitly demands the putting aside of self-interest to serve the nation. The Weimar Oath of Loyalty declares unconditional obedience to Adolf Hitler. What is an affront to self-interest if not this? The Nazi is in no position to smugly mock liberal rhetoric calling for the putting aside of self-interest for the sake of justice and equality. For it is the Nazi that demands unquestioning and absolute subservience of the individual to the leader, nation, and idea. For it is the Nazi that embraces suffering and death to serve a leader who despises them. If liberalism insulted self-interest, Nazism tried to slaughter it.